Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahakwadash, Barakatah. Double honors to the elders and the apostles and the righteous men of Great Millstone who teach us this truth and righteousness and sincerity and in brotherly love. And salutations to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 men of Yasharallah and the one-third men, women, and children of Yasharallah. Shalom. This is your brother Shamya coming back at you one more time from the Great Millstone Helena, Montana camp. And we're just going to jump right into it. We always like to make a disclaimer. We are not a hate group and we are not an extremist group. We are a truth group and we only bring out the truth according to the Bible, according to the word of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash Barakatah. Okay? So this whole dumbass doctrine that's going around Yasharallah right now, this fucking hell doctrine, how you got wicked ass Israelites in Israel right now, you know, got this stupid ass dumbass doctrine that when these motherfuckers talking about, now when the Israelite is wicked, when they die they go straight to hell. So just like Elder Tahar said in one of his videos, he said so like, they just bug outs, the hell doctrine, they're basically saying, um, there's all manner of wickedness, and it's just madness, all type of madness and just wickedness, you know. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, by Shem Kakodash Barakatah, and the elders apostles of Great Millstone, they make sure that, these false ass doctrines and this wickedness, it will not stand, okay? And the elders apostles of Great Millstone, they teach us to, contend for contend for the faith, contend for the truth, defend the gospel, you know what I'm saying? Through the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai. So, Elder Tahar, he always, and the elders apostle Great Millstone on down, they always teach us, to stay on point and to preach the same gospel, the same truth, and be on one accord, okay? So we just gonna jump right into it and stuff. Now, because uh when you steal a candy bar, you know, you're not gonna go fucking 30,000 feet underground. You know what I'm saying? If you steal a candy bar, it's like, oh shit, I stole a candy bar, I'm going straight to hell, 30,000 feet underground. It's like, no, that's not true. That's a fucking that's Esau's. That's an Edomite doctrine. You know what I'm saying? And but we just gonna jump right into it. We gonna go into the words and go into the word hell and see what's up. You know. So real quick, let's go to the book of Jonah, chapter 2 and verse 2. Okay, and we just gonna flow through the spirit. Through the spirit of Yahweh Shemar Shai. So this is Jonah chapter 2 and verse 2. Now this is an account when Jonah was in the belly of a fish. Okay, he was in the belly of the fish. Now we can only imagine. Jonah was in that belly of that fish. It was stinking. It was dark. It was foul. You know, he was in hell. It was a condition that he was in. Just imagine. It's like it was. He couldn't. It's like it was unbearable for him. It was. He was in a state of just he was in hell. It was a condition. This is Jonah chapter 2 and verse 2, and it says this. This is Jonah, and said, I cried by reason of my affliction unto the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, and he heard me out of the belly of hell. Quick question: how is being in the belly of a fish. How is that hell? If he was in the belly of a fish, he wasn't 30,000 feet underground. He was in the belly of a fish. But it says the belly of hell. And it's plain. It's not. See, the thing about it is the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai didn't make this. He doesn't want everybody to get this. But when we read this through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai and the elders, apostles on down, a great millstone, it's made clear to us. He was in the belly of hell. He was in a condition, hell. It was hell to him. You know, not 30,000 feet underground. I'm going to read it again. It says, and said, I cried by reason of my affliction unto the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, and he heard me out of the belly of hell. It being in the belly of a fish, that's not 30,000 feet underground where it's fire and brimstone and all types of demons and pits and fucking, red everywhere and red and darkness and, no, man. It says, out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice. Now let's look into that word hell. But before we do, I want to read this in Jonah chapter 2 and verse 2 and the Bible in basic English. The Bible in basic English version in Jonah 2 and 2. And this is what it says. In my trouble, now this is Jonah speaking. In my trouble, I was crying to the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and he gave me an answer out of the deepest underworld. Was Jonah in the underworld like 30,000, 50,000, 70,000 feet underground? Where it's pitchforks and demons and shit spitting fire and demons? No. But right here in the Bible in basic English, they said they instead of the word hell, it's the underworld. Let me read it again. It says, Bible in basic English, it says, in my trouble, I was crying to the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, and he gave me an answer out of the deepest underworld. I sent up a cry, and you gave ear to my voice. It says underworld in the Bible of basic English. In the King James Version, it says hell. But let's keep moving. It says this. Now, let's go to the book of Isaiah. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 38. And I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shema Shai for letting me and allow me to do this lesson, because the Lord wanted this lesson to come out. This is Isaiah chapter 38 and let's start at verse 17. And we're going to read to verse 18. And it reads, Isaiah 38, 17 to 18. Behold, for peace I had great bitterness, but thou hast in love to my soul delivered it from the pit of corruption. For thou hast cast all my sins behind thy back. Verse 18. For the grave cannot praise thee. Death cannot celebrate thee. They that go down into the pit cannot hope for thy truth. Now, verse 18, it says, for the grave cannot praise thee. It says grave in verse 18 in Isaiah chapter 38. In verse 18, grave, right? So, in verse 8, okay, in the King James Version, it says grave. Now, in the Bible in basic English, it says underworld. So it says grave in the King James Version, and in the Bible of basic English, it says underworld. So again, how can it be talking about the grave in the King James Version, but then in the Bible of basic English, it says underworld? That can't be talking about two different things. It's talking about the same thing. the grave, okay? The underworld, hell, not 50,000 feet underground. That's talking about the grave, okay? The underworld, hell, the grave, okay? I'm going to read it one more time. It says, for the grave, this is verse 18, for the grave cannot praise thee, death cannot celebrate thee, they that go down into the pit cannot hope for thy truth. Okay? So real quick, I looked up for grave right here in Isaiah chapter 38 and verse 18 for grave. The Strong's Concordance is H7585. So let's remember that concordance because we're going to keep, breaking it down. So that's the concordance for grave. Strong's Concordance H7585. Okay? For grave. Now, let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 37. Genesis chapter 37 and verse 35. And it reads this. It says, Genesis chapter 37 and verse 35. It says, and all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted, and he said, for I will go down unto the grave, until my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. So in verse 35 in Genesis 37, it says grave. The Strong's Concordance for grave in Genesis chapter 37 and 35 is, for grave, is H7585. The same as it is in Isaiah chapter 38, verse 18 for grave. For Isaiah, Salakia, for in verse 8 in the King James Version for grave, it says real quick in verse 18, Isaiah 38 and 18, Isaiah 38 and 18, okay? Just bear with me, Akim. So it's Isaiah chapter 38, Isaiah chapter 38, verse 18. Okay, so Isaiah chapter 38 and verse 18, it says grave. Okay, in verse 18, it says grave. Okay, and the Bible in basic English, it says underworld. Now back to Genesis 37 and 35, in verse 35, it says grave. So the concordance in Isaiah chapter 38 and verse 18 is Strong's Concordance H7585, and Genesis chapter 37 and verse 35 for grave, it says H7585. Okay? Now real quick, we're going to go to the book of Amos. Amos chapter 9. Amos chapter 9 and verse 2. This is what it reads. It says, though they dig into hell. See, in Amos chapter 9 and verse 2, it says hell. Though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them. though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. Okay? So Amos chapter 9 and verse 2, it says, though they dig into hell. The concordance for hell in Amos chapter 9 and verse 2 is H7585. The same as it is in Genesis 37 and 35. But in Genesis 37 and 35, the word is grave. So in Genesis 37 and 35, it says grave, but in Amos 9 and 2, it says hell, but they have the same concordance, H7585. That shows you right there that it's not talking about a deep 50,000 feet underground place where you burn forever. No, it's talking about a condition. When you're in the grave, you're in a state, a condition. Okay? You're in a state, a condition. Okay? When it's talking about hell, it's talking about the grave. It's talking about the grave, a condition that you're in. Okay? So it says, so again, Genesis 37:35, it says grave. Amos 9 and 2, it says hell, but they have the same concordance, H7585. Okay? So Psalms 55, let's go to Psalms 55. Psalms 55. Psalms 55 and verse 15. It says this: let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell. Not 50,000 feet underground. It says, let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell. For wickedness is in their dwellings and among them. So in the King James Version, in Psalms 55 and 15, it says hell. Now in the King James 2000 Version, it says this: let death seize upon them, and let them go down alive into the grave. Okay, that's a complete cut on that fucking false ass hell doctrine. I'm gonna read it one more time, because in Psalms 55 and 15 it says, in the King James Version it says, let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell, for wickedness is in their dwellings and among them. Psalms 55 and 15 in the King James 2000 Version, it says, let death seize upon them, and let them go down alive into the grave. And there you go. That's plain right there. Okay, ain't no such thing as you going down into hell. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put in the description box a little short 1 minute video so you Akim can see it. It's basically it was the movie that came out in the 90s called Spine, when this guy, it's all bullshit, but it was a good movie back in the 90s. But he died and then he went to hell, and it's just all stupid. But you Akim, a lot, y'all seen the movie and stuff. But I'm gonna put the video in the description box and stuff so you guys can take a look at it, and stuff like that. But there's no such thing as it's no such thing as hell. When we die, we still a candy bar. We're not going to hell, 30,000 feet under there, and like Elder Tahar say, Little Nicky style. We you got Little Nicky and all the motherfuckers down there, and Satan and pitchforks and spitting fire and shit and vomit and nasty putrefying flesh and all type of shit. No, man, that don't exist. Okay? So I'm going to wrap it up, Akim. Want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, Barakatah. Let's keep pushing, Akim. Let's keep fighting for the truth, fighting for the faith, and continuously defending the gospel. Okay? Kwam Yasharala and Abba Babal. Shalom.